Alright guys, welcome to the channel or welcome back. Hi, my name is Ania and today I'm going to be giving you 5 tips for better and more enjoyable studying. So, as I mentioned in a previous video, this semester kind of threw me off guard a little bit. Summer came, I forgot how to do everything school related, and I basically didn't have a good system going into it. Of course, when you're planning for the semester, you never really know what you're actually going to use until you get into it. And I did mention in my How I Plan for a New Semester video that things would change and I would update you guys as they've changed. So here are some of the changes that I've personally made. So let's jump right into the video. So my first tip would be that if you're reading from a textbook or even if you're reading from a physical book, break up your reading. Break up your reading and then you can plan the rest of your week around that. So something I was doing a lot at the beginning of the semester was actually just trying to be as ambitious as possible. I thought that I was going to be able to get everything done in such a short amount of time, and that just isn't the reality of the situation. So what I figured out is that I would set up a reading assignment to read and take notes on a chapter or two. And then I would end up spending my entire day, or what was left of my day after work, trying to finish this reading assignment, and I either wouldn't get it done or I would just barely get it done, but then I didn't have any time in the rest of my day to do anything else. And so it kind of made me feel like I didn't accomplish anything, which was kind of starting to really dishearten me at the beginning of the semester. So what I figured out is that if I break my reading up, first of all, I won't get as tired of the material if I split it up between 2 days. And second of all, I actually retain the information better because I'm not trying to rush through it. An example of this would be, I have this physical book here for my early childhood development class, and I basically have to read a chapter of that every couple of weeks or so in order to do my assignments. So instead of trying to whiz through the chapter as quickly as possible, I will just break it up into a couple days up. I'll do a little bit of the reading here, a little bit of the reading there, and then that way I can get other stuff done while I get the reading done, and I can actually feel like I accomplished something for the day. And even if we go here to Good Notes, I actually have my textbook for my political science class in here. So what I will do is I'll go through and highlight a couple things and do whatever I need to do. But for example, like this document is 88 pages. Now, of course, I'm not going to read 88 pages in 2 days, but chapter 3, which is what I'm focused on right now, is only 20 pages. So basically what I'll do is I'll say, okay, today I'll read 10 pages and then tomorrow I'll read the additional 10 pages and I'll take the quiz on the material. And then that way, that first day, I read 10 pages of the material and I can do work for another class so that I don't get burnt out on this material. And that seems to be working really well for me. It's made me more, It's made me less likely to skip an assignment because I don't feel like, oh, okay, it's gonna take me all day to do this reading and it's the only thing I'm gonna do and I can't get anything else done and blah, 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 all of that. So that is definitely my first tip. Just split it into manageable chunks that you can personally handle. Now, if you're somebody who does really good with reading assignments, you may not need to do this tip. But for me, I am not really good with like straight up just reading and taking notes. I find issues with finding what's important. I mean, of course I do it, I get it done, and I'm doing fine in my classes. So clearly I've figured out something that works. But in general, just like having to sit down and read and take notes takes way longer for me than it might for you. So I found this tip very helpful, and just by taking 2 or 3 days, you probably will still be able to get whatever assignment you need to get done. So that is why that's my first tip. All right, so my next tip is to have a plan of attack. Now, what I mean by a plan of attack is have a list of things and assignments that you plan on getting done somewhere where you're gonna see it, and then basically schedule all your assignments into a certain day you want to get them done. This tip has always been my number 1 tip when it comes to school, studying, and getting assignments done. if I know exactly what I want to accomplish in a day, I am way more likely to actually accomplish it. So for example, I've talked about this before, but if we head over to Google Keep, we can actually see that I have this, it's kind of like a huge sticky note, basically a digital sticky note. And I have it in Google Keep. And basically I just go through, I put the date at the top, and I will put everything I want to get done under that in a little checkbox. And that way I can just check things off as I get done. So as you can see, some days I'm putting like multiple assignments in one day, but everything is checked off, so I was able to get that done. And this is basically how I get all of my assignments done, and also how I get my studying in. I feel like because I'm able to control exactly how much I'm getting done, what's getting done, and there's a clear-cut plan for me to follow in order to get it done, it's a lot easier for me to actually do it. So a really good example of this is that yesterday, which was Saturday, I really wanted to make sure I got all my assignments for the week done so that I had time today, which is Sunday, to film this video. So what I did was, we can go all the way to the bottom and you can see I had a full chapter to read, I had an assignment to turn in, I had a discussion board that I needed to post to, and I had a presentation that I had to watch and take notes on. Now this presentation was 40 minutes, so it was split up over 2 days. And the health assignment, I had kind of outlined what I wanted to do for that assignment, and then I basically just went in, refined it, put all the information there, and then posted that. And then I read the chapter, and then I was able to also, it's not on this one, it's on the next day for some reason, but I was actually also able to take the quiz for political science, and then I had everything done, which left today open so that I could bring you guys this video. So it's just one of those planning solutions that is a little bit easier for me. I can just keep it here, I can check it off, so it's very satisfying. And this has been a way for the past 2 semesters. Actually, now this is my 3rd semester using this method, and it has always been like a tried and true method for me. It has always worked out, and I've been able to keep up with it no problem. So this is my 2nd tip. I would highly, highly recommend using Google Keep. So my next tip would actually be, if you're able to put on a very long YouTube video or documentary to have as background noise while you're studying or doing assignments. I'm somebody personally who can keep up with 2 different things at a time. It actually is better for my mind, because I feel like if I'm sitting down and I'm taking notes, especially when I'm doing like reading notes, if I don't have something in the background, I kind of get like unmotivated, and I don't know, it's just not as enjoyable for me. So a way that I make studying and doing homework more enjoyable is I'll just turn something on. So essentially, I will either go to Disney Plus, where I've watched Free Solo. I also am somebody who can handle things that I've seen before, because I don't need to see what's gonna happen. I've already seen the movie. So for example, like Hamilton is one I put on a lot. Doctor Strange is one I use. I love the Avengers Endgame and Infinity War. I watch them too many times, and it still hits me the same way every time I watch it. So Disney Plus is a huge advantage for me. And then also going over to YouTube, I will usually find videos that are very long. So I'm a huge fan of true crime, so I watch people like Danielle Holland, and I'll see if she has a video up so I can watch it. Or I will go to, what's her name? She does Coffee and Crime Time. Stephanie Harlow. She's somebody I watch frequently. Like every time she uploads, I watch her videos. But I'll also listen to podcasts. So some of my favorites are the Lights Out podcast. I listen to the Mal Hire podcast. I listen to the Dave Ramsey show. There's a couple other podcasts that I listen to, but basically I just want to put on something very long that I don't have to touch for an extended period of time, so that I can just focus on studying. And that seems to be something that helps me a lot, because it's something I can do like kind of halfway listen to it and enjoy it, but I can also focus on what I'm doing, because my brain knows, okay, if I'm putting this on, it's time to do work. So in that way, I've kind of tricked my brain into making that time more productive than I guess it should be. And that's a really good tip that I have. If you kind of feel like, okay, I'm studying and this is just not working for me, try it. If you're somebody who gets easily distracted, I would probably skip this tip, because I don't want to be the reason that you don't get your homework done. But if you're somebody who can handle having things on while you study, I would highly recommend a documentary or a podcast or just a really long video. Maybe somebody telling stories, anything like that will be really good. So that's my tip number 3, is just put something on that you don't have to touch. It will help, I promise. All right, so my next tip, my 4th tip, would be to use Notion. Now, you guys know that this is my first time ever using Notion, and I really was trying to get the hang of it, trying to figure out what worked for me. And so I actually use Notion in conjunction with Google Keep in order to keep track of all my assignments and know when they're due so that I don't miss anything. I've had a really good experience with Notion so far, and actually I really have to give it to Janice Studies, because she is the reason that I'm having such a good experience with Notion. She created this amazing template in order to keep track of all your assignments, the dates, any other miscellaneous things you have to add on to that assignment information, and it has been so amazing to have it this semester. And I'm like, I can't go back. Like, every single semester going forward, I will use this method. So if we head over to my Notion, we can actually see all of the things I've already checked off, and this is what mine looks like. So this is actually the master schedule that we're looking at right now. But if we come over here, this is the first page you kind of see. So it's just like I have a little leaf for fall, because we're all about the fall vibes right now. And I put my major and what I'm gonna be doing. And as you can see under here, we have each class. We have my master schedule and each class listed out. So right now I'm taking 3 classes. This information, if you're going to school or if you have Zoom classes, this bottom portion right here will actually be really good for you to keep track of what time your classes are, if you have physical classes, what room number they're in, and just things like that, especially because you can use this throughout different devices. Let's say, for example, if you're like running late to school and you're like, oh crap, I just started, I don't remember what room number my classroom is. It's really cool. You can open it up on your phone, and then you'll have Notion there and you can get all your information. Now, I do have separate pages for each of the classes that I'm taking this semester. However, I was kind of using them to go week by week at first, but I've actually realized that I don't really need to do that. I don't really need to see it week by week. For me, the best way for me to do it is to just see it all together. So this is the schedule that I use most often. This is the one page that I use all the time. And so you can see I have the course identified here. I have what kind of assignment it is. So if it's the overall module and how long I have to get everything in that module done, if it's an assignment, if it's extra credit, discussion post, if it's a quiz or exam, and that's pretty much how I have it labeled. Stop. And then also I have notes over here in this section. Oh, and I also forgot, I have the date right here. So it automatically organizes itself by the date, which is so handy because I don't have to go through and physically do it. It will just put it in by itself. Super great. Again, I was saying I have the notes. So if I have any notes, or if I'm trying to still figure out like, oh, you need to research information on this, or if I'm still trying to figure out how do I get to this, how do I work this, I can put that there. And I actually made another column that doesn't come with the pre-existing template, because you can add whatever you want. And I have plenty of discussion posts because all of my classes are online. So in order to make sure I remember, okay, how many replies am I actually responsible for? I will actually go through and write out how many responses I have to do for each assignment. So like, for example, this one that was due on the 20th, which today is the 20th, I had a discussion post where I have to do 3 replies, and I can see right here that I've only done 1 out of those 3. So now I know I need to go through and post the next 2. Now I have a couple days before I have to do that, but I like to put just the first date that my teachers give me, and I try to get everything turned in on that day, just so that I'm ahead and just so that I keep everything organized. And you can just keep adding down the list as you need to. And so I feel like this has been the most helpful thing for me this semester and keeping me extremely organized. So definitely a great number 4 tip is to use Notion, and please get Janice's Studies template. It's amazing. I love working with it. I'm very happy with it, and I think you guys will be happy with it too. All right guys, so my 5th tip is actually to use Spotify or any other music streaming platform. So this one I know I've talked about before, so I'm just gonna keep this very brief. But basically, using Spotify, playing non-distracting music can be a really good thing for somebody who can't really handle watching a documentary or movie like I can, but they still want to have something going on in the background. So playing music is a really great way to do that. And even if it is a little bit distracting, you can always turn it down to a pretty low volume. And I think that will help you keep a manage over whether you're getting distracted or not by the song. Some of the ones that I like to listen to are, we can see right here, Lo-Fi Cafe. This is the one I really listened to recently when I was kind of in a little bit of a bad mood. So the movie or whatever I was watching actually was affecting me. And so I figured, you know what, let me just turn on some music instead. And it put me into such a focused mode. And I was just like really happy that I made that decision, and I was able to finish whatever I was working on. So definitely a good tip. All right guys, I have one final last bonus tip, and that is to set a time that you want to get your assignment or whatever done. So I've been using Google Calendar. That's not what I wanted you to do. I've been using Google Calendar to actually do a block schedule. Now this is also my first time doing a block schedule. I never did one before. I never thought they would work for me, but I've been doing it, and it's actually been really a good experience. So basically I've just been planning it out. As we can see here, it's like, okay, I have an assignment that I want to get done, but I know that I have multiple things to get done. So having a time actually is a really good benefit to me. Also, if I set a time, I feel like I'm less likely to take forever doing one assignment. You know, you have those assignments where you're just like dragging your feet. You're like, I really don't want to do this. So what do? You procrastinate, you do everything else except your assignment. But if I'm just like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to sit down and do it. From 6 to 6:30, I'm going to work on this assignment. And by 6:30, I am turning this assignment in and I'm moving on. And I feel like it makes you more accountable, makes you more able to get things done in the time frame that you have. If you only have a couple hours like me, because I work, this is a really great way to kind of keep yourself accountable and keep yourself on a tight schedule to get everything done. Now I'm a human being, so of course I'm not perfect, and I don't always stick to the schedule. Sometimes other things just come up and you can't do what you're wanting to do, but you just move it to the next day, you keep going, and you end up getting that done. So it's just whatever you gotta do, right? Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys found some useful information from this video. Also, if you try out anything, let me know how you liked it.